The concrete canyons of Manhattan are no strangers to chaos, but every so often, the natural rhythm of this sprawling metropolis is utterly derailed by something far more intoxicating than the usual rush hour grind. On a scorching Thursday afternoon, just as the city began to breathe in the heavy, humid air of an impending holiday weekend, the atmosphere across New York shifted into an entirely different gear. The streets surrounding Midtown started to swell not just with the typical surge of commuters eager to escape the concrete jungle for the 4th of July, but with an unmistakable, electric tension that only follows the world's biggest icons. Rumors had been whispering through the alleyways and high-end hotel lobbies for weeks, but it was the sudden, high-velocity sighting of a global pop sensation that turned speculation into an absolute frenzy. Dua Lipa, the 30-year-old British powerhouse, was suddenly spotted dashing through the city streets, cutting a remarkably stylish path through the sweltering heat. Dressed in a chic, sleeveless peach top adorned with delicate lace trim, tucked effortlessly into acid-wash jeans, and cinched by a bold black belt that matched her heavy handbag, she looked every bit the effortless superstar. With her signature raven locks cascading freely over her shoulders and oversized sunglasses shielding her eyes from the blinding summer glare, she navigated the urban landscape with a glass water bottle in hand, looking like a woman on a very specific high-stakes mission. Her unexpected presence across the Atlantic instantly ignited a massive firestorm of media scrutiny, sending shockwaves through the entertainment world and leaving onlookers wondering what could possibly bring the London-based star, who recently celebrated her own wedding to actor Callum Turner, to the heart of New York on this exact day. As we dive deeper into this unfolding urban mystery, make sure to become a permanent part of our community by hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a single detail of this breaking story. The true catalyst for this citywide meltdown lies just a few blocks away, inside the legendary walls of Madison Square Garden, where a fortress of secrecy has been meticulously constructed to shield what is rapidly turning into the celebrity event of the century. The iconic arena, typically reserved for massive concert tours and grueling athletic showdowns, has been completely transformed into a heavily guarded sanctuary. Local residents and frustrated travelers trying to navigate the gridlock around Penn Station have found themselves trapped in unprecedented roadblocks, with the New York Police Department establishing strict perimeters that have left commuters fuming. Yet, the inconvenience to daily traffic is merely a footnote compared to the staggering scale of what is transpiring behind the closed doors of the stadium, where a literal princess castle has reportedly been erected to serve as the backdrop for a monumental union. For days, heavy unmarked trucks have been unloading massive crates of sophisticated camera equipment, high-end lighting rigs, and top-tier security apparatuses under the watchful eyes of guards who are leaving absolutely nothing to chance. The sheer scale of the preparation hints at an event of historic proportions, a gathering of cultural titans so significant that the hosts have gone to extreme lengths to ensure total privacy. Whispers from highly placed sources have revealed that every single digital invitation sent out to the elite guest list was individually watermarked with the recipient's specific name, a brilliant and ruthless security measure designed to instantly expose anyone foolish enough to leak the details to the public. Furthermore, the couple at the center of this media storm has allegedly forced all attendees, staff, and vendors to sign ironclad non-disclosure agreements, creating a vault of silence that few dare to breach. Reports emerging from inside the venue suggest that stadium employees have had their mobile devices completely confiscated for the duration of the festivities, effectively cutting off the inner sanctum from the outside world and leaving the global press corps to gather whatever crumbs they can from the perimeter. Despite these unprecedented measures, the sheer gravity of the event has drawn a constellation of the world's most recognizable faces toward Midtown, each arrival adding more fuel to the speculative fire. Sleek black sport utility vehicles with deeply tinted windows have been seen navigating the chaotic streets, carrying a parade of Hollywood royalty and music industry legends toward the secret functions. Supermodel Gigi Hadid and her high-profile boyfriend Bradley Cooper were among the early arrivals, spotted making their way toward the inner circle, their presence signaling that the festivities were officially underway. Close friends like Selena Gomez have also been swept up in the whirlwind, moving through the city under tight security as the countdown to the main event ticks away. Even the bride's longtime musical co-writer and confidant, Jack Antonoff, found himself cornered by aggressive media inquiries in the days leading up to the weekend. awkwardly dodging direct questions and offering vague responses about his own attendance in a desperate bid to respect the couple's strict code of silence. The tension outside the venue is palpable, with police officers on patrol actively threatening to arrest any members of the paparazzi or media who refuse to maintain a designated distance from the stadium entrance. The world is watching, trapped in a state of suspended animation, as the puzzle pieces of this star-studded gathering begin to fall into place. What started as a whisper about a quiet, intimate rehearsal dinner, followed by a massive weekend extravaganza, has rapidly evolved, with insider sources now confirming that the actual, highly anticipated wedding vows are taking place much sooner than anyone anticipated. It is against this backdrop of high security, logistical chaos, and unparalleled star power that Dua Lipa's sudden Manhattan sprint takes on a fascinating new meaning, forcing fans and critics alike to re-examine the complex web of relationships that defines the modern pop landscape. The sight of the British singer navigating the soaring New York temperatures has forced a deep dive into the history of these international icons, raising questions about who is truly welcome within the most exclusive inner circle in music. As the afternoon sun begins to dip below the Manhattan skyline, casting long shadows over the barricaded streets of Midtown, the stage is set for a drama that extends far beyond a simple wedding ceremony. The air remains thick with anticipation, and every tinted window that passes the gates of Madison Square Garden brings another wave of questions about who will ultimately stand witness to this historic union. The unfolding drama inside Madison Square Garden has effectively paralyzed the heart of Manhattan, drawing an invisible but impenetrable line between the ordinary citizens navigating the pre-holiday rush and the rarefied atmosphere of the global elite. To truly understand the gravity of Dua Lipa's sudden appearance in New York, one must examine the intricate, often volatile dynamics of pop music royalty that have set the stage for this weekend. The relationship between Taylor Swift and Dua Lipa is one wrapped in layers of public amiability, subtle professional maneuvering, and a history that stretches back nearly a decade. Back in 2018, the two chart-topping forces appeared to share a genuinely warm and supportive bond, far removed from the hyper-competitive rivalries that frequently plague the upper echelons of the music industry. Fans with long memories vividly recall the moment the British star shared an image on her social media platforms showcasing a spectacular, lavish bouquet of deep indigo flowers that had been personally sent to her by the American songwriting titan. The gesture was met with absolute delight, with the younger singer publicly marveling at the beauty of the arrangement and exclaiming how incredible it was that they seemed to last all year round. This public display of mutual admiration was solidified further the following year, when both artists shared the stage at a massive high-profile corporate concert event in New York City, posing for photographs together backstage and projecting an image of solid, unbreakable female solidarity to millions of onlookers worldwide. For a long time, it seemed as though they were navigating their respective rises to global dominance as mutual allies, operating in different lanes but always maintaining a respectful, friendly distance. However, in the fickle world of international pop stardom, alliances can shift under the weight of a single sentence, and the seemingly flawless facade of their friendship began to show distinct, fascinating fractures just a couple of years ago. The turning point arrived during a widely watched television interview on the prestigious news program 60 Minutes, where the British songstress delivered a series of remarks that instantly sent shockwaves through the massive, deeply protective fan base known globally as the Swifties, discussing her own artistic philosophy and her strict boundaries regarding what she chooses to share with the public. The hitmaker noted that some individuals in the industry are simply so ruthless with their own private lives that they make the conscious decision to put absolutely everything into a song because they know it is guaranteed to attract massive amounts of public attention. She expanded on this philosophy by stating that, for her, it had always been paramount to create music that people truly loved based on its artistic merit, rather than putting someone on blast or relying on cheap clickbait at someone else's personal expense. Given the bride's world-renowned reputation for channeling her highly publicized romantic history and past heartbreaks into record-breaking albums, many pop culture analysts and passionate fans instantly interpreted these statements as a thinly veiled, direct swipe at the American pop icon. The fallout from these comments created a lingering cloud of ambiguity over their relationship, with observers noting that when the British singer held her own lavish wedding festivities earlier this summer, spanning a quiet ceremony in London and a massive 3-day celebration in Palermo, the American superstar was conspicuously absent from the guest list entirely. This history of subtle friction is precisely what makes the current situation in Manhattan so deeply compelling, as the entire entertainment world watches to see if these past tensions have finally been put to rest. The mystery deepens when considering the bride's own expansive, slightly chaotic philosophy regarding her wedding invitations, which she openly discussed during a television appearance shortly after her engagement last August. Joking with the late-night host, she light-heartedly admitted that her dream was to invite practically anyone she had ever had a conversation with throughout her career, a statement that seems to have manifested in the star-studded crowd currently descending upon Midtown. High-profile figures from every corner of the entertainment landscape are arriving by the hour, including the very talk show host who received that original invitation, spotted landing at John F. Kennedy International Airport alongside his husband just a day prior to the festivities. Yet, as the fleet of luxury vehicles continues to drop off celebrities at the heavily barricaded stadium gates, the extreme security protocols implemented by the couple have turned the venue into a digital black hole. Security personnel inside Madison Square Garden have been strictly ordered to enforce a total ban on recording devices, creating an unprecedented environment where even the most famous guests are cut off from their millions of followers. The local police department has grown increasingly aggressive as the evening progresses, actively clearing the sidewalks and warning the assembling crowds that any refusal to comply with dispersal orders will result in immediate arrest. The logistical nightmare has pushed Midtown traffic into absolute gridlock, transforming the bustling transit hubs around Penn Station into a sea of red taillights and vocal frustration. New Yorkers trying to catch trains out of the city for the long weekend find themselves caught in the crossfire of this massive celebrity event, forced to navigate around miles of metal barricades and heavily armed patrols. Inside the stadium, away from the prying eyes of the public, the sheer scale of the production is rumored to be unlike anything ever attempted for a private union. With the rumored Princess Castle, symbolizing the fairy tale narrative the couple has built over their highly publicized romance. The contrast between the beautiful, highly orchestrated fantasy world being constructed inside the arena and the tense, restricted reality on the streets outside perfectly encapsulates the massive cultural footprint of this event. Every detail, from the individually watermarked digital invitations to the ironclad non-disclosure agreements, paints a picture of a couple determined to maintain absolute control over their narrative. Even as the global media apparatus moves heaven and earth to catch a single glimpse of the ceremony, the presence of Dua Lipa in the middle of this high-stakes environment remains the ultimate wildcard, a puzzle piece that refuses to fit easily into the established story. Whether she is in town to officially put an end to years of feud rumors by witnessing the vows firsthand, or whether her sudden appearance is merely a remarkable coincidence, her presence has undeniably added a massive layer of intrigue to an already historic night. The city holds its breath as the final preparations are completed, knowing that behind those heavily guarded doors, history is being made in the most exclusive room in the world. As the deep twilight of a momentous Thursday settles over the unmistakable silhouette of the Manhattan skyline, the immense gravity of what is transpiring within the reinforced perimeter of Madison Square Garden becomes impossible to ignore. This historic union represents far more than the simple convergence of two highly successful individuals. It marks the definitive cultural merger of two of the most powerful and influential entertainment empires on the planet today. The bride, an unparalleled global musical titan whose poetic songwriting and fiercely loyal international following have completely redefined the modern music economy, is taking a monumental step into a new chapter of her extraordinary life. Beside her stands a legendary professional athlete, a champion whose grit, charisma, and dominance on the football field have elevated him from a sports hero to a cross-disciplinary icon of popular culture. Their journey together, which began under the intense, unforgiving glare of stadium lights and endless media speculation, has captivated millions around the globe, turning every public appearance, shared glance, and subtle gesture into a matter of international interest. By choosing the heart of New York City and the world's most famous arena as the stage for their vows, they have intentionally created a moment that will be remembered for decades to come, elevated by a production of such jaw-dropping scale that it feels more like a historical milestone than a private celebration. The elaborate Princess Castle erected inside the venue stands as a bold, visual testament to a romance that has successfully defied the cynicism of the modern world. offering a rare glimpse of pure fairy tale grandeur in an era dominated by fleeting digital trends. Yet, the true depth of this event lies not in the massive physical structures or the overwhelming security measures, but in the fascinating tapestry of human relationships that it has brought to light, most notably exemplified by the sudden, dramatic presence of Dua Lipa on American soil. Her journey across the Atlantic at this exact moment symbolizes the complex, often unpredictable nature of artistic alliances at the very top of the entertainment industry. For years, the public has parsed every single word, lyric, and social media post between these pop music powerhouses, searching for signs of rivalry or reconciliation. To see the British sensation navigating the sweltering heat of New York, surrounded by the intense anticipation of this specific weekend, suggests a powerful narrative of growth, maturity, and mutual respect that transcends past misunderstandings and industry competitive pressures. It serves as a vivid reminder that behind the massive public personas, the record-breaking stadium tours, and the endless media narratives, these figures are real individuals navigating an incredibly rare and isolating level of global fame. The gathering of such an extraordinary inner circle from longtime creative collaborators who have helped shape the sound of modern music to Hollywood icons and global supermodels underscores the profound impact the couple has had on their peers and the wider world. Each guest who walked through those heavily guarded gates, leaving their mobile devices behind to step into total secrecy, did so to honor a bond that has grown stronger under the most intense public scrutiny imaginable. Outside the arena, the chaotic energy of the city begins to soften as the night deepens, but the significance of the event only grows clearer to the onlookers waiting past the police barricades. The strict security measures, the watermarked invitations, and the ironclad non-disclosure agreements were never about exclusion. They were a necessary armor designed to protect the sacred nature of a personal commitment from becoming mere spectacle. In a world that demands constant access to the private lives of public figures, the couple's successful defense of their wedding day stands as a remarkable achievement in its own right, proving that even the most visible icons can carve out a space for genuine intimacy. As the music echoes faintly through the heavy walls of the stadium and the celebratory lights reflect off the surrounding buildings, New York City stands witness to the definitive closing of one chapter and the spectacular beginning of another for these